Hey everybody, it's Rental Robert with Hustle Nation. I hope you had a great Tuesday, made you a little bit of cheese, increased your side hustle, whatever it was. I hope it was profitable and productive. This video, I'm going to go over probably the 5 best books that I've ever read. I think these are a must-have for every hustler in their library, and these have been monumental in producing change in my life, and so I want to share them with you. So the very first one is Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now, this is the old standby. I think this copy is probably about 40, 50 years old. It never goes out. It's one of the very first that was around, and it's absolutely timeless. Everybody that's in a position that I would like to trade places with, this is sitting on the shelf at their house somewhere. Highly recommend it. You got to get it. It's a phenomenal book. Now, this one right here is much more recent. I think it just came out this year. Got a lot of respect for this guy. He started out kind of on a rough road. However, he got into mainstream and does a lot with music, does a lot with films, does a lot with production, but he's got a brilliant mind. This is actually Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, okay? He talks a lot about things that he goes through, and, you know, as the fame and the money starts rolling in, and like, you know, he bought the mansion that Mike Tyson had. He lived in it for a while, and then he kind of figured out, hey, you know, it's costing an awful lot of money for me to be able to keep this going and everything like that. You know, and he just lays down a lot of things in the sense that, you know, you got to be quick to fire, you know, slow to hire. I mean, just a lot of really great nuggets in this book. So I highly recommend, you know, it'll be life-changing for you. You'll pick up something out of it that'll be worth its weight in gold for you and everything like that. The other thing has to do all about with mindset. Highly recommend this book right here, you know, The 10 Pillars of Wealth. This is a great book. It's an easy read. It's not real thick, so you can get through with it pretty quick. I mean, if you're, you know, disciplined, you can read this in one day without any problems. But it talks a lot about mindset and the things that people do, the wealthy do, the successful do. You know, I got a lot out of it because I was able to recognize patterns that I was engaging in that were keeping me from catapulting to the next level. So, you know, it's a highly recommended book for the Hustle Nation right here. You know, I'd pick up a copy, you owe it to yourself to read that one. It's pretty good. One of the problems with entrepreneurs is, and I'll give you an example, you know, is that there's something to be said that when you have to show up at a certain place, whatever your start time is, 7 o'clock, 8 a.m., 8:30, whatever, 6 a.m., 6 to 2, you know, 7 to 3, I don't know what it is, but whatever, you know, if you're working for somebody else and you're having to show up at a specific time, there's something to be said for that. And I'll give you an example is, there's nobody that stands over me and says, Robert, you need to wake up at 3 o'clock. Not a person, okay? Tyson, he's, you know, sacked out and everything. He just wants to keep on sleeping. That dog does that real well. He sleeps a lot. Allison, she's got her gig. She's got her time schedule and everything like that. The other dog, Blue, you know, she's just happy that you're petting her. That's for sure. So again, there's not that impending accountability thing that is over my head as far as, you know, you need to be here at this time and everything like that. Now, granted, if I don't get up, I don't eat, okay? Ain't no sick leave. There ain't no vacation for me to call in. Ain't no PTO or anything of that nature, you know, so I've got to make this thing happen. Now, this book right here is real good for people like me, you know, because, man, I'm a squirrel, you know, just like that. You see how quick that happens? I'm telling you, it's real easy to lose focus of what's supposed to be going on. So this book right here was real critical as far as managing your day. It is Manage Your Day to Day, Build Your Routine, Find Your Focus, and Sharpen Your Creative Mind. Phenomenal book. That's one of the biggest things that happens with people like us. We lose our focus. You know, there's so many things that we get bogged down into. One of the other problems that as an entrepreneur that we have is we don't want to give up control. So then what ends up happening is we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, And, you know, we're just getting way too bogged down with things, and it just doesn't make sense for us to be doing all those things. So, you know, we end up getting our focus diverted. So something like this is really critical on making sure that, you know, you stay on track, keep your eye on the prize type of deal and everything like that. Instead of, you know, talking about it, you got to be about it. So, you know, keep this one in mind. This is a really good book right here. Now, probably, and I'm sure all of y'all were expecting this, and this is the almost best for last and everything like that, but this has been one of the most life-changing books that I think has ever been written in this last millennium. You know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and basically it talks about Kiyosaki, the author, has a dad that worked for the school system in Hawaii. His whole thing was, as you put 40 years in, you get a degree, you do good, you get a retirement, and you play it safe for your whole life. And he grew up with a friend whose father was extremely wealthy. And he said, you know, I paid attention one day, and I was over at my friend's house, and his dad would get up and he would go to the office, and there'd be like 15 people waiting to see him. There's never anybody that was waiting to see my father. And every one of these people wanted something from my rich dad. And I knew that he had like an 8th grade education. And I was wondering why so many people came to him because of that. And later I go to find out that, you know, instead of going and spending money, you know, he believed in buying assets. Assets are things that put money in our pocket. He did not believe in buying liabilities. And I'll give you an example. You know, real nice Diesel King Ranch 4x4 and everything, about $85,000 off the lot, you know. And he's like, there's no way I'm going to do that. Kiyosaki's big thing is Ferraris. He likes Ferraris. And so he said, you know, I asked my wife, I said, you know, do you mind if I buy one? She's like, no, you've worked hard your whole life. Go ahead and get one, you know. And he said, I still couldn't bring myself to go in and making that purchase. He said, I had to go out and buy an apartment complex that would make the payment for me, so that I'm going to end up with a Ferrari that's paid for, and then I'll have an apartment complex that's paid for too. And so no money came out of my pocket, which is the absolute gold right there, you know. And it's kind of like, so many people think that, you know, buying their personal residence is an asset. It's not. It takes money out of your pocket unless you're renting rooms, okay? Or you bought it, you fix it up, you flip it, and you make a profit. That personal residence is not making you a dime, okay? All it's doing is money's going out that way with that property. And so maybe the thing to do is to pick up a couple rentals to make the payment on the property that you're living in, and that way none of that money that's going that way, it'll stay right here in your hand. So these are 5 books that I think are absolutely crucial for you to have financial success in your life, that's going to make your life easier. They'll give you some great tips to be able to put some things together. It's Rental Robert with the Hustle Nation. Keep grinding, be productive, be profitable. Have a wonderful day.